back. Welcome to Twin Cities Fantasy Podcast. My name is Sakar and Praveen. Welcome.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode here. How was your week, Sakar? Game FPL
Man, it
wise.
was short. Huh? Yeah, FPL wise, it was pretty amazing. But as far as the game week
Mhm.
goes, it's pretty wild. I mean, we only less than 24 hours for another game week. And, I'm ready to
Yeah,
roll,
yeah,
especially with game week 12 being a little bit challenging with no game for
yep,
Arsenal, City, and couple player being missing. It's probably going to be the tough game week for most of us here.
yeah. That would be challenging. So just to remind everyone, deadline is tomorrow, Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time. So make all your changes before that and make sure you have enough players playing there because Arsenal and Manchester City won't be playing this game week. So plan accordingly. You don't have much time left. And again, Saturday we have another game week. So there's back-to-back game week. So this week's gonna be busy. So be prepared for that.
Right.
Other than that, I'm happy with my week too. Good in fantasy.
Also
Good
challenging,
with
I
my
would say.
team too. Yeah. hmm Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and review some of our teams then? You can start with our Twin Cities team. I will share our screen. I think you are stuck, Sakar. Maybe you want to rejoin. While we are waiting for Sakar, I can go ahead and review our Twin Cities team here. As you can see, we didn't do really that great. Again, this is a combination of three different minds, three different players. So you can imagine like we wouldn't have the best perfect team out there. But again, I am really disappointed with this point. I think the only standout here is Dallo, who scored 9 points, and that was a good pick. Manchester United held to a goalless draw. They had some good chances at the end, but it ended up being a draw, which also gained clean sheet points for Trippier. So that way, our defense was pretty good with Pope, Trippier, and Dalot all earning clean sheets. But other than that, it's pretty mediocre. Mitrovic, they come back. That was a good news. He scored a goal too, and he was not back to his full fitness, but he was doing good. So overall, we were just above the average points, but this is not the best score we could get. And again, we have that Manchester City Arsenal problem here for the next game week, and with Madison and James out, and Marshall also doubt, it's going to be a tough week for this Twin Cities team. But again, this is not our personal team, so let's not talk about it too much. Next up, Sakar, I talked about our Twin Cities team, so I'll let you talk about our highest scorer for the week, which is Sailab P, who scored 78 points. Sakar, you want to talk about his team? Sorry, we had to switch.
Right. Right. I'm having a little bit of audio difficulty here. Praveen, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I think there is a delay though.
Okay. It's a little bit right. So yeah, I mean that's our game week there. I think we made a pretty good decision by bringing in Solanke, right, Praveen? And I think he
This is our highest
didn't
scorers
disappoint us.
team. So this is Silab's team. I talked about our team
Oh,
when
sorry.
you were out.
Oh, you
Yeah.
already did?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I mean that's. I mean I can. I had in my mind to captain Tony even in my team, and again I thought
Mhm.
Haaland been so consistent in scoring, how could he not score any goal against Liverpool? And that's when I switched my mind and I actually captained Haaland, and but it looks like he really thought outside the box and captain Tony and really
Mhm.
paid him off pretty well there. What do you say?
Yeah, that was a great move. Because everyone was saying like Haaland would be permanent captain for everyone, but this differential captain was really, really useful. And again, he also had Solanke, and then brought in Salah, I think. So those were all good picks, which added up to be up to 78. Otherwise, like that is way high than the average point. So captaining Tony and having Solanke and
It
Salah, I
is.
think that
It
paid
is.
out. Yep. Hmm. Yeah. That
And
was,
also his defense is pretty solid,
mhm,
right?
yeah. All
Everybody
three
scored
clean sheets,
the point for his
except for
defense. Yeah, pretty
Saliba's
nice.
yellow card there.
Right?
Yep. No.
Right.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
have a lot
good
to
one.
talk this week about Arsenal, Manchester City. We'll be talking about that throughout our show, but our next segment here is players to watch. So we'll be talking about some of the most talked about players for this week, and we'll start with Sakar with Mason Mount.
Yes, yep, absolutely. He been pretty consistent with new coach and new game style. I think he is the star for his team right now. So and then even the fixture looks pretty nice to him. And I really haven't watched a lot. He played the week before that, but I think he's definitely a must-have player for your team, especially with if you're planning to sell De Bruyne or any Foden who or even Martinelli. I think you can probably replace them with him, Praveen.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about last week too about Mount, and we suggested to have him. So if you had brought him 2 weeks ago, you would have already gained benefits from him. With that said, I
Hmm.
watched his game a little bit, and he was not as good as I was expecting him to. But like he has his position solid in Chelsea team, so I feel like he would be a regular going on, and then that would be like it's hard. Like in Chelsea, it's hard to find a player who will be playing every game. I feel like Mason Mount might be one. So even if he plays
Right.
regularly, you'll have some weeks without points, but overall he'll be doing good.
Right,
Yep.
and also, and as we know that James Madison is out, so I think Mason Mount can be a good replacement for Madison as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think they are in the similar price range too. I think Mount is even cheaper. So you would save some points and maybe you could upgrade a defender or something. So great point. Next up, I have Mohamed Salah. We talked about him last week too. We have been talking about almost every week, but and last week I was wondering if it's the right time to bring him back in, and feels like this is the right time, right? He scored a hat trick in Champions League, and then a midweek game. I don't know if it was Champions League or a different game, but he
Right,
scored a hat trick, and then he was so good last week against, or this past week against Manchester City. So many shots on target, so many missed chances, but he ended up scoring a goal, a
right,
winning goal too. So I feel like he's back in that form. He's playing more in the middle rather than the side. So I feel like this week might be a great time to bring him in. And with Arsenal and Manchester City not playing, if you have enough budget, and if you have someone like Kevin De Bruyne who you want to get
hmm,
rid of, I
yep.
think Mohamed Salah would be a great replacement.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Praveen. Salah, I watched him game in the Champions and even the last game with City. Man, his position have play changed, and then the way he is acting or playing with the ball, it's really excites me now because I wasn't seeing
Yeah,
that prior game weeks. But the one with the City and the one with the Champions League, man, he has come out with the same Salah that he used to be a couple season ago. So
yeah,
I really have big
yeah,
hope for Salah.
yeah. He could have easily scored another goal. Like if Nunez had
Yes,
just passed him, you, yeah, that was such a silly mistake from Nunez. But
right.
hopefully he'll have more chances this week. Next up, Sakar is
Yes.
Dunk that you chose. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, I'm pretty sure most of us have do own gems up to this point. I know at least I do, right? I don't know about you, Praveen, but
I
I
do.
think the good replacement for him would be Dunk at this moment, because they're playing against not, and I think they are not as good. The defense is not as good as they. I think I mean the offense. Sorry, my bad. It doesn't seem that attacking. So I think Brighton can have easy clean sheet, as well as I mean Louis Dunk also. play important
Mhm.
role assisting the ball.
Mhm.
So we could see that coming down here as well. And obviously you're gonna
Yes,
save
yeah,
lots of money there if you're selling James. That means with
yeah,
4.6, I think you'll enough budget.
yeah. So Sakar, you said Brighton have really good fixtures. So would you go with like other Brighton defenders other than Dunk, or would you like specifically pick Dunk?
Yeah,
I think,
can you hear me, Praveen?
yeah, I think you missed my question. Like, what about other Brighton defenders? It's
Oh,
Dunk better, or could you go with like someone like Webster or someone else?
I mean, if you really look at the position Dunk plays, it's still kind of goes as a defensive mid. So there are chances that he could provide an assist. That's why I would choose Dunk over other
Yeah,
defenders.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So next up on my list is Trossard again. Like you mentioned, uh, Brighton had really good fixture this week against Nottingham Forest, whose defense are not that great, and Trossard is a very attacking player. So
Mhm.
if you're looking for that Madison replacement, or even if you are trying to strengthen your midfield, uh, Trossard would be a really good pick, at least for this week. Next game week, they're playing against Manchester City, so that might be a little tough one. But after that, it's again gets a little easier. So I think like that's a good balance there. You could pick Trossard with his price point. You'll be saving a lot if you're replacing Madison with Trossard.
Mhm.
And with the fixer, you can't go wrong this week with
Yep,
Trossard.
you could make some space for bringing in Salah, right?
Yeah, yeah, that is true. You could save some money from this one. That's mainly our players to watch. We'll talk more about Arsenal City when we come to our team. If you have more than three of Arsenal and City player, uh, we'll talk about how to balance that and how to get other players later on. But this is our list of players to watch. Next up is clean sheet probabilities. So, Sakar, you want to talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
this is. I mean, see, I mean, I earlier recommended Dunk as a
Mm,
defender, and as you can see, Brighton has 49% chance. Again, as far as this data goes, I wouldn't feel that confident until I mean, it says 50%, more than 50, but 49,
yeah,
being Brighton,
that's pretty
Newcastle,
close.
I think
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense because Newcastle has pretty good defense. They played against Manchester United and defended very
Mhm.
well, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I would say New England. And earlier I think we forgot to mention about the defenders. I think it's a good time to
Mhm.
bring. Already, I think if you already own a Trippier, do you really think it's a good idea, Praveen? What do you suggest? Is it okay to bring yet another Newcastle defender?
And uh, the way I'm thinking is most people have like Pope and Trippier already, two players.
Oh
And I don't
yes,
think
that's
you
true.
want to
Hmm.
go too high on Newcastle. That would be too risky. And the only other player like Trippier, he's not just like a defender. He don't only get clean sheet points. He gets like assists, like he
Free
goes on
kick,
free kick, he gets bonus points. So like
corner as
Trippier
well.
is like more of a whole package rather than just being a Newcastle defender. So I wouldn't right now go with another Newcastle. I would rather go with Brighton defenders. Like that
Right.
would be more. Even like Bournemouth had some. I think a good fixture, and you could go there too. But like, even if you just talk about these two, I think instead of Newcastle, I would go with Brighton defender just to balance
Right.
it out. Like, you're not going all in.
Right.
And third one is Chelsea here. The only problem with Chelsea is you don't know like which defender is gonna start. Like um, last week, like you might pick Koulibaly and he won't start. You might pick Cucurella and he won't start. So James was that kind of James, and who was the other one? Fofana. Those were like more
Yes.
like solid picks, but both are injured. So Chelsea would be a little risky pick for this week. Yeah,
Yep.
and then that is mainly our regular segments here. Now we'll go to our Twin Cities team and talk more about uh, team balancing. So as you can see, there are a few different flags here: red flags, yellow flags, and some Manchester City and Arsenal player. So we have 2 free transfers and only 0.1 in our bank. So just right out of the box, I'm thinking like maybe Kevin De Bruyne could go out and bring Salah. But then we'll still have like Madison, James, and Martial to think about.
Right. Yeah. I think what I really think is I think we should take a hit on a point because I don't think we have a wild card either. So I think we should take a couple of hits and then probably take care of, because I think we can still pay the. Oh, actually, we need to pay Martial. And we're not even sure if Martial is going to play, right? So we have.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Right. So
we might have to go -8, or we could go like free chip, but like.
Yes,
I don't think this is a great week for a free chip. I don't think it will be a high scoring week. You would want free chip in like a double game week or something like that, where like you have some players who would be scoring so many points that you want to bring. So let's do regular transfer and see if we can get anything decent here.
Right. I think we should definitely start with Salah.
Yeah, that is
because the price is also going to climb here for most of the managers who are going to replace him with KDB at least. So
yeah, and then Madison for sure. We already have Trossard. We have Martinelli who won't be playing. So we talked about Mount. Let's see if we have enough. I think we have enough money for him.
I think we will. Yep, we can replace him with Mount. Yes, and that's what we talked about anyway. So
yes, so we gotta stick to our words, right?
Right.
We told everyone
you gotta do that.
Bring Mount. So, and then James.
So, I think we can probably replace him with Dunk for now.
Yeah, let's go Brighton defender.
4.6 and then.
That will actually save us some money. Do you want to go 8-point hit or?
Yep. So we know if Martial doesn't play, probably just come in. I don't know what his status is going to look like, but I think we have all the midfield, so 5 in the midfield, right? And I don't know. I mean,
Martinelli won't play, so yeah.
Oh yes, so we can do 1, 4, and then all the defender. We have 4 then.
Yeah,
and we can maybe bench Martial.
10 players. So we can't bench Martial because we already have 3 in the bench: Haaland, Martinelli, and Cancelo.
Yep. We will leave him in a startup lineup, right? I mean, if we are lucky, then we'll see.
Yeah,
we never know. He might just come in and score, right?
Yeah. He might come for last 10-20 minutes and score.
Yep.
Yeah. So
let's do this.
So for everyone else who have a similar problem, I would say like don't go for a free chip this week because this is not the right week. There would be so many other opportunities to do that. I would say a 4-point hit is about the right balance because you'll be gaining some points. Like when you replace someone, like when I replaced James with Dunk, you get like minimum 2 points. So that's like only you are wasting 2 points for your transfer. So think it that way, and then get rid of if you have more than 3. City and Arsenal player, get rid of them first and then take care of Madison or James or whoever is injured in your team. But I've seen some teams who have like 3 Manchester City player, 3 Arsenal player, and they also have Madison and James. So that's like 8 players who won't be playing this week. So for those teams, I would think free chip would be maybe a good option.
I have a take on that, Praveen. So what I really think about that, like me myself, I have 3 and 3 from Arsenal and 3 from City, and then the also thing is I bought them at the very beginning phase, the early game week, and that means their price is now way up. So I cannot sell KDB, I cannot sell Haaland because my purchasing price is going to be higher if I sell them today. So I'm not ready to take that risk. I don't want to sell Cancelo because his price has gone way up. So what I'm really thinking is, I can replace James, I can Madison, and like you said earlier, I think we got to do some math, right? if you, and this is going to be, I think, pretty low scoring game week anyway. So even
Yeah.
if you bring those players and have 11 players on a lineup, that doesn't mean you're gonna get paid off.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
don't go wild with -16 or -8 points
No.
and
No.
try to fix your
No.
team. Rather, it's going to be a low scoring game week. Just put them on their bench or have them
Mhm.
not play. And at least don't use free hit yet, because there are a couple of double game weeks coming down the road here. So that would give
Mhm.
us a really good advantage.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because after this game week, Arsenal and Manchester City have such a great fixtures. They have
Hmm.
very easy, and like where people, like a lot of player will be scoring. So that's a good strategy too. If you don't have enough
Right.
transfer, you could save them and just like eat up the points, and then expect other players would also play bad. Because even if you transfer and they just scored 1 or 2 points, you're wasting a lot of points there.
Right. And also, as far as the budget goes, right? I mean, if you have recently bought Haaland or De Bruyne, and if you are not losing out quite a lot of money, then I think it would make sense. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you would even take a big hit. Because I mean, can you click on that Haaland's info there, Praveen? I just want to see how much he cost today. Like, okay, 12.2, right?
12.2.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we sell it today,
And
we'll
the
probably sell it on 11.8,
11.8. So that's
right?
4 points, 0.4
Hmm.
million already, half a million
Right. And
almost.
then Right, and then by the time you're gonna buy
Mhm.
again, he's gonna go up to 12.3, and you're not gonna get
Yeah.
that money once you
Yeah.
lose it. So
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
maybe take
That's a
some
good point.
hit, right? Maybe
Mhm.
take some hit with the point goes, but I think everybody needs to be calm and kind of collective for a specific this game week to move
Mhm.
forward. We shouldn't
That is
panic
true.
for.
That is
Yep.
true.
Hmm.
Yeah. So what would you think like the highest hit would be? Like, would you suggest like a 8 point hit if they have to do anything
Right. I
crazy?
mean,
Or
if you have zero transfers, right? Like you already use
Mhm.
all your transfer, because at least for us we had two. So if you have
Mhm.
a zero transfers, then I think taking a 8 point hit would be pretty decent, especially if you have all six players from City and Arsenal, and if you had James and then Madison. In that case, I know you have to make some changes, because you would want to sell James and at least Madison right away,
Yeah.
to fill up that line. But rest, I would just keep it.
Yeah, and just like James is gone until World Cup, but Madison is coming back. Like he'll be back this Saturday, like
Hmm.
next game week. So think about that. If you have some, if you can take this hit this game week and like just wait on Madison, like I would advise that, but that's also an option. So
Right.
it's really depends. Like this could also be like differentiating game week too. Like everyone is scoring low, and if you have a good enough team and you score like 20 point higher than other team, that might like
That's going to be a
you
lot of
might jump in
difference.
the rankings. Yeah. So it's really your how do you think about it? Like if you really want to make some difference this week, you could go ahead, maybe even do a free chip if you are in very extreme conditions.
Hmm.
But then again, think about future. You won't have free chip. Starting next week, you won't have Arsenal players or City players. So it's a balancing game here this week, and
Right.
I hope you don't have to get a big hit, but I hope you will be able to navigate this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's going to
Okay.
be exciting for sure.
Let's make this transfer. Only 4 points.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay. Do we
price
have
change
more?
already. See,
See,
yeah,
I told you, man, this is going to be tough.
that
When it
happened
was
before too. You remember
last time?
one
Yep.
time?
Yep. It's second time. Second time.
Let me
Man,
do
that's
that
crazy.
real quick here.
I wonder the price for Mount might have gone up, right? Mason Mount.
Yeah, maybe Salah too. You never know.
Okay, we'll find out. Salah got 12.7. Yep, that looks right. Mason Mount is 7.7. So we had Dunk 4.6. You probably need to search him.
4.6.
Yeah, that looks right.
Or maybe
Yeah.
the player we sold might have changed, might have gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, might have been decreased. So can we see how many points we have? I mean, 1.6. How
Uh,
much do we have left in bank?
We have
1.6.
1.4. See,
Yep. So
it
we
was
lost
1.6
0.2.
already.
So we're
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
talking too much, man. We lost 0.2
yeah,
million dollars. We're talking too
yeah,
much,
yeah.
man. See,
Let's
that's
save
this is all
this.
fantasy is about, man. You blink,
I
you
mean,
lose.
yeah. So let's see our lineup here then. Uh, we have to bring in. We have to get rid of Haaland here. Bring in Martial,
I
Martinelli.
mean, even
Yes.
I think even if we don't make a change, it's probably gonna replace it anyway, Praveen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That
know,
is.
like yeah,
Yeah.
and absolutely don't play your bench boost.
Yeah. Don't do that
Don't even
mistake.
think
No.
about it, right?
Okay.
I mean, if
So
you have
captain
player,
pick.
not yeah,
Yep. Oh yeah.
man.
Captain pick.
You
Who do
know,
you think?
I would definitely go with Salah for sure. No Haaland means yes, Salah, I guess. I don't know. What do you recommend?
I would also recommend Salah, so that's definite captain for. So let's talk about vice captain. Then I think Salah is pretty set for this week.
Yes,
I don't think
I
you
would
can
definitely
go
go with
wrong with
Mount.
Salah. You go
I
with
would
Mount.
definitely go with
I was
Mount.
thinking
Yes.
Trossard, but Mount is
Right.
also a good option.
Do you know? Do you know
Otherwise,
if you really want to be that bold, like that bold, you would even go for Trippier, man. I mean, Everton doesn't have a
yeah,
good offense. I mean, they could come up with the clean set for sure, and might as well have an assist or even goal from Trippier. Who knows? I mean, if you really want to be bold and even make a captain, but I don't know. I don't think we're gonna do it on this one. But if you
yeah.
want to really make
In
a
future
difference, then
games,
right.
yeah. I feel like between Mount and Trossard would be like a reasonable pick this week.
Yes.
So I would pick yours for this week. Let's see. Let's go with Mount. Um, but for viewers who are watching, Trossard would also be a good option because they are playing against Nottingham Forest, who are like the bottom of the table and has been letting a lot of goals in. So
Right.
that's also a good option if you're thinking about something. But Trossard hasn't scored in last few games, so make your choice there. Yeah, let's save this. Um, and that is it. We are done with our podcast here. And I don't think we have any question here today. Hopefully, people are busy plotting their move for this week and next week. So I would say good luck to all of them. Yeah, you want to say something before we leave, Sakar?
Yeah, absolutely. Praveen, all the best to you as
Mhm.
well. It's pretty, I like I mentioned earlier, I have at least 6 players and then 2 players who are out, and I still gotta fix my team as well, and
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
consider that there. Good luck to everyone out there, and then make sure you subscribe our channel and even make a comment. It's a pretty short game week. All the best, and thanks for watching.
yeah. And we'll try to come back again between 12 and 13. We still don't have a fixed date yet, but we'll probably come around Friday's time. So stay tuned and good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night.